Hello, everybody. It's Rick. You can reach me at rick0327@me.com, me.com. All right, you see all these papers here. I'm going to do this video because I want to show this to law enforcement, district attorneys, employers, and to show you the lengths the child support enforcement agency will go and the courts working with them. Because the support hearings, they are part of the child support, they're part of child support, but they just happen to hold them inside the courts. Okay, it's a slick little move to trick people to think that it's a court order when it's really not. Okay, and they have these rules where the orders are supposed to be judicially reviewed and then signed and you know, go through all the legal requirements, but they rarely do. And it's they just want their money because they're under a time constraint to get their money. And they don't have time to afford everybody due process. You know, these people got to steal money very quickly so they can get their money from the federal government. All right, so I'm going to show you some examples here of what they'll do. All right, that's me. See how young and good looking I used to be? So I used to be a police officer, so we'll get rid of that. All right, this is supposed to be some type of a court order here. Now this is something that is going to be sent to these people. See here, it's signed by the court, supposed judge, a domestic relations section. It's supposed to be signed by a clerk. It's not. This is a forgery. Okay, this is a forgery. It doesn't have any legal force whatsoever. This is just a piece of paper. That's all it is. If you ignore it, nothing will happen. This is just made to make it look like a court order was issued. This is used to trick the person that was in court that day into thinking it's a court order. All right, this guy sent this to me, and it's an obvious forgery. But the child support agency will go, well, we have this court order, and they're good at playing the fools. All right, they act ignorant very easily. Well, we got to go by the court order. I'm like, I have a video where I point out it's not a court order, and they just play stupid with me. Okay. Now I'll show you my court order that was issued against me. Okay. That's me. All right. Okay. Remember I was telling you guys about presumptions? The basic child support obligation stated above presumptively results. See, presumptively results. It's all presumptions. It's up to me to prove, to rebut the presumption, except that when I try to rebut the presumptions, it falls on deaf ears all the time. Okay? This is nonsense. Oh, social services. This means that my ex-wife supposedly, presumptively, is receiving welfare. Well, she's not. Okay? Enter. Support magistrate. Support magistrate. Doesn't that sound very judicial? It's a judicial sounding name. It's not. It's take away. It's a bullshit name. They just made this thing up a few years ago. It's a made up name. They're a non-judicial court employee. That's all she is. She's a lawyer playing a judge. Okay, New York State Trial Rules 205.34. A non-judicial court employee. All right, does anybody see a clerk's signature anywhere? This is an administrative order. They want you to think it's a court order. It's a forgery. This forgery here has cost me thousands of dollars. Thousands. Okay? Forgery. Now I'm going to show you what a real court order looks like. All right? This is a judgment of divorce. All right? See, it's stamped by the clerk, right? Now, the judge Keep going. All right. Now, signed by a judge. Enter, right? Look what we got there. Clerk. That is the Gloria D'Amico is the county clerk of Queens. This is an actual court order. Okay? The forgery I just showed before altered this. They based everything off of this, and they falsely altered this agreement, which is against the law, just so they can force me into paying child support into the system. And that's what it's all about. The way the crime works is that they try and get as many people with jobs to pay child support through their system by garnishment. Okay, that way they take the money right out of your check. Then they notify the federal government, oh, look all the money we're collecting. And the federal government matches the money with 66% for every dollar that they steal. Okay? And I'll show you what they'll do. Now, look what we have here. In New York State, the notices for child support and for restraining the bank account, it's under Section 52. Now, this is what's usually sent out to a bank. Now, I'm sure plenty of people out there have had their bank accounts frozen. I know I have. Look, it's a notice to judgment debtor obligor of restraining notice. Restraining notice. It's not an order. A bank will receive this and claim they have to seize your money. And some banks, like my Chase Bank last year, actually sent the money. Most banks don't send the money because they know it's bullshit. But the banks have a contract with the child support agencies. I don't know what they get out of it. I haven't been able to figure that one out yet. I have a feeling that they're compensated somehow. But CPLR, Practice Law Rules, Section 52, right? I want to show you something. St. George's Law Review. CPLR 5222, 5230, 5232. Public officials held liable for acting in conformity with the statute subsequently declared to be unconstitutional. That's unconstitutional. That's still being sent out to this very day. The child support agencies are still sending out these restraining notices, and it's unconstitutional. And they're still doing it. So, to the employers out there, if they're willing to do that in this state, what do you think they're going to be doing in your state? So, all these income withholding orders that you receive for your employer, your employee, it's a forgery. Now, what you need, that your employee's property, their wages, is their property. What you need to see is a warrant. You know the same warrant if a sheriff shows up to your door or a police officer and they want to search your house and they knock on your door? Well, hopefully it never happens to you, but if they were, what have you been programmed to do? Can I see a warrant? May I see a warrant? It's the same thing with their paycheck. So if you get a letter in the mail of an income withholding order, something like this, it's the same thing. Can I see a warrant? That's not a warrant. A child support agency cannot issue a warrant. Doesn't happen. They can't do it. It's against the Constitution. Okay? Let me see if I can find one. All right, look. This is an income withholding order. Look what it says right there. Child Support Enforcement Agency. I guarantee you this is the same thing that they send out all over this country. It's not signed by anybody. It's a forgery. It's not a warrant. So you have no business sending your employees' property anywhere. It's a forgery. There's nothing will happen to you if you do not withhold their wages. It's a forgery. Okay? I want to show you guys something that I just had here. Okay. 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 Now, New York, here in Queens, family court, look what we got here. New York State, Department of State, Division of Corporations. Entity name, Family Court Association of Queens County, Incorporated. It's a domestic, not-for-profit corporation. This is family court, by the way. It's a not-for-profit corporation. It's not a court. It's a welfare court. It's a social service court. Same thing in your state. They operate in the circuit courts. It's the same thing. It's nonsense. So any order they issue absent a judge's signature and a clerk's signature is a forgery. I did the video the other day. Remember I was telling you guys about the lawless ones, about submitting court paperwork, how you got to be careful, and what they look for? Sovereign citizen tactics. What they're doing here is they're labeling people exercising their constitutional rights, and what they do is they label them violence, criminality, see, violence. They're not violent people. Sovereign citizens adherents may also refer to themselves by such terms as constitutionalists, freemen, and state citizens, and make many efforts to separate themselves from illegitimate government. Now they put illegitimate in quotations. What they're trying to do is people have figured out that a lot of things that happen, like I just showed you here, that government agencies all the time violates constitutional rights. All the time. I just showed you right here. Because the state government relies heavily on federal funds from child support. There's a video on the internet where the Attorney General in the state of Texas, Ken Paxton, said that for every dollar he spends in the collection of child support, he gets $12 back. And he's bragging about it. He's supposed to be enforcing the law. He's not supposed to be helping agencies violate people's constitutional rights. He's making $11 for every dollar he spends. Is that insane? He made $4 billion collecting child support in federal monies. So you're going to tell me that they're not going to break a little bit of rules to get that money? It's a big forgery, guys. To the police officers out there, they're forcing all of you guys into the child support agency. And you guys will go right along with it. If you're not on welfare, you're not supposed to be paying child support through the system. Child support is a repayment for a loan for welfare paid for your child because you weren't supporting your child. But what they've done, they figured out how to make so much money, they got everybody involved in it. They're not even supposed to be, if you're getting divorced, they're not even supposed to be asking you, do you want to pay child support through the system? But they do it all the time because the lawyers make money on it too. I haven't been able to figure that one out yet. I hope to figure it out one day, get some proof on that. Because I don't understand why lawyers would do that to their client, but they do it all the time. Now, let me show you some dirty tricks that they pull. This is February 28, 2013. See? I found that they were having a court hearing, didn't notify me. They do that all the time. So they could put me in default and force me to pay child support. I showed up this day. They were shocked to see me. And they wouldn't let me in the courtroom. And I got the Lieutenant Richard Warman was in court on 2/28/13. So if these people are willing to do that, is it not possible that the income withholding orders that the employer is receiving is a forgery? And that your employee, when he comes to you or she comes to you and says, please don't send the money, I do not owe any money, that maybe you shouldn't send it? And that if you don't have a warrant, you definitely shouldn't send it? Okay? And look at the efforts that I had to go through to get off child support. Look at that. All right, I'm running out of time. I hope I made my point. I'll talk to you guys later.